esteemed leaders, industry leaders, and champions of inclusion. Welcome to the 17th edition of Segway Sessions. This edition's Segway Sessions is presented by Aditya Birla Group. Today, under the powerful theme that is #Advance with Purpose, we celebrate ambition, resilience, and leadership of the Indian women professionals. On behalf of Team Avatar, it is our pleasure and honor, me Khushi Agrawal and my co-host Aniket Kapoor, to welcome you to the 17th edition of Segway Sessions. Before starting the ceremony, we would like to have the lamp lighting ceremony. I request Dr. Saundarya Rajesh, Mr. Uma Shankar Kandaswamy, Mr. Ashok Ramchandran, Mr. Karthik Ekambaram to light the lamp and invoke the ceremony with the blessings of God. Can we have a huge round of applause for all?
Avatar Group, India's pioneer in workplace culture consulting, has been at the leading edge towards increasing women's workforce participation, bringing winds of change to bridge the gender gap at India Inc. Leading by the visionary Dr. Saundarya Rajesh for its transformational impact in the realm of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Avatar Group was listed in the prestigious Steward Leadership 25 listing by Straits Times and INSEAD at Singapore in 2022. An ISO 2700 certified firm, Avatar's biggest research project is its annual benchmarking study, the Best Companies for Women in India, BCWI, and the Most Inclusive Companies Index, MICI, done in partnership with US-based gender parity champion Sarah Mount. BCWI and MICI are India's largest DEI benchmarking studies, which have paved the way for the employment of more women and underrepresented groups. Avatar also promotes inclusive hiring through myavatar.com, India's first diversity job portal.
We are currently celebrating our 25th anniversary year, and it gives me immense pleasure and honor to bring our flagship conference, Segway Sessions, to this city of dreams. Thank you so much for making it today and being a part of our celebrations. Segway Sessions have provided the Indian women professionals a platform that enables them with strategies towards sustainable solutions for problems faced by them at workplaces.
Redefining the Indian women's professional narrative by transcending career centricity and delving into the multifaceted dimensions of our experience beyond economic activity, we will advance with purpose.
The primary objective of the conference is to acknowledge the versatile transitions that women experience in life beyond professional development. Through Segway Sessions, we aim to promote personal development, community building, skilling to equip women with tools and resources that help them thrive even as challenges unfold. Embedded among these objectives is the essential focus on enabling the IWP women to ask for help, support, and guidance with regard to the personal transitions they make. On that note, let's begin the day. Before we start, a heartfelt thank you to our partners who make this gathering possible. Our presenting sponsor, Aditya Birla Group, Our wellness sponsors, TransUnion Civil Limited and Wellspun Enterprises Limited. Our associate sponsors, EPAM Systems and TVS Motors Company. And our supporting sponsors, Tata Consumer Products, CGI, and Universal Sompo General Insurance. A special appreciation to our gift sponsor, Beiersdorf Nivea, for adding a thoughtful touch to the experience. Can we have a huge round of applause for all our sponsors?
My dear delegates, please do use the hashtag Segway Sessions, hashtag Advance with Purpose, hashtag IWD 2025 to post your experience at Segway Sessions generously. Do not miss to tag Avatar, leaders in workplace culture and inclusion.
As a part of the work that we do at Avatar, we conduct India's largest longitudinal survey, which is the country's first and only inclusivity index for cities, that is Top Cities for Women in India, a study by Avatar in its 4th edition. We invite you to join us in this movement by taking part in the open survey. You would be thrilled to know that Mumbai features in the top 10 inclusive cities for women in the TCWI study. We invite our very own Mumbaikars to scan the QR code to make the nation's financial capital the most inclusive city in the country.
We are thrilled to announce the Avatar Certified Career Counselor Program that will transform women's career journeys in India. If you are passionate about building intentional pathways for success, this program is for you. Are you a career counselor already, or an HR, or a DI professional fostering inclusive workplace, an academician or an educator, a corporate leader or a manager looking to make that difference and create that impact? Scan the QR code to be the ACCC. My dear delegates, let's embark on a day of thought-provoking discussions, inspiring narratives, and actionable insights with an amazing lineup of speakers that we have today.
To set the tone for the day, it is my privilege to invite a leader who has been shaping the narrative of inclusive workplaces in India. Let's welcome Dr. Saundarya Rajesh, founder and president, Avatar Group. She is a renowned social entrepreneur, established Avatar in 2000 as India's inaugural initiative dedicated to bolstering women's workplace participation. Over the ensuing 24 years, Avatar has left an indelible mark, shaping the employment landscape for countless women and emerging as a premier workplace culture consulting firm. Advising over 700 organizations, Avatar has played a pivotal role in advancing gender inclusion and has significantly contributed to the national data on women's labor force participation through extensive research efforts. Dr. Saundarya's leadership has cemented her reputation as a torchbearer for women in the Indian workspace. She tirelessly advocates for the recognition of women's invaluable contributions to organization and underscores the critical role of gender recognition in India's broader economic prosperity. Her notable achievements have garnered widespread acclaim, earning her prestigious accolades such as the Ministry of Women Award. Additionally, her pioneer work in facilitating second careers for women and her groundbreaking intentional career pathing training program has empowered countless women to re-enter and excel in the workforce. Dr. Saundarya's best-selling book, The 99-Day Diversity Challenge, stands as a seminal work in experiential inclusion, reflecting her unwavering dedication to fostering positive change in workplace dynamics. Her second book, Conversations with a Career Doctor, within 2 weeks of release, has received effusive accolades from CEOs and MDs of several 500 Fortune companies and is poised to become a game changer in influencing women's careers. My dear delegates, please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Saundarya Rajesh, founder and president, Avatar Group, for the inaugural address. Can we have the mic?
Thank you. I'm just going to, yeah. Good morning, It's absolutely fantastic being here in the corporate capital of the country at a time when we all should be really celebrating. Before I begin, let me first thank, even though of course the customary vote of thanks is right at the end, I want to thank Aniket Kapoor and Khushi Agarwal from KJ Somaya Institute of Management, who have very kindly agreed to be our MCs for today. And very importantly, the kind of practice and the kind of prep they've been doing along with Lakshmi Vijaykumar, our head of events and experience, is truly stellar. You guys are doing a great job. Relax and sit. Once I'm done, then you can come back up. Thank you. Friends, this is indeed a momentous time for all of us. And I spoke about celebration. And the celebration is not just for Avatar, which is shortly going to celebrate its 25 years of existence in the space of workplace culture and inclusion. This is also a moment for people involved in culture to be celebrating. This is also a moment for corporates that have been in business for a long time to be celebrating. And it's a time for India to be celebrating. Let me explain. A country's developmental journey is often rated or scored based on 5 types of development. The first is democratic and political stability, which, God's grace, as we all know, India has been enjoying ever since its freedom. Secondly, infrastructure and technological growth, which over the past probably 20 years, India has been making great strides in making sure that infrastructure is actually available everywhere. The third is institution building. Institution building, which comprises of the creation of organizations, corporate businesses, of educational institutions, of various entities which come together to show the world that the country is progressing. The fourth is global best practices entering into the world, into the country, showing the world that this country is actually a citizen of the global large space, of the global ecosystem. So that way, India has been home to multiple types of advancement with regard to best practices. And then the fifth point is Human Development Index, where the country shows progress in terms of ensuring that everybody, men and women, men, women, people of every kind of identity, children, everyone is able to actually grow with equal amount of opportunities. 2025 is a very pivotal year because all of these aspects of development for India are coming to a single point. And this is not me sharing this with you. This is data from the UNDP, which says that India is poised to make that big leap from being a developing nation to becoming a developed nation even before the Viksit Bharat goal that we have actually been given by the Prime Minister of this country. So, cause for celebration. Now, in that context, what does inclusion, culture building, and creation of greater career paths for women's workforce participation really mean? And to explain that to you, I want to take you along a quick journey of Avatar's growth over the past 25 years. Yeah, so that was all the way back in 2000, and that was the logo that we started with, which says the power of change. And we have been very true to that logo, actually. So every once in a way, we have changed and, done different things, moved on to creating newer and newer milestones. And we started off as a talent strategy consulting company in the space of women's careers. That's how we wanted to be. Our job was just to find jobs for women professionals, especially people who had taken a break in career. That was the origin story of Avatar. one of the first projects that we successfully completed was the placing of 224 people into the Chennai container terminal, which happened in the year 2001, and which coincidentally also was the first recorded instance of women joining the white-collar workspace as far as the container terminal industry was concerned. This is, of course, an AI-generated image. It's not the image of the actual girl. But if you read the book, Conversations with the Career Doctor, there's a chapter where I speak about the career primary nature of that first woman professional who absolutely convinced all of us in that startup team to, despite the fact that the JD spoke very clearly about a man for that position, she broke that barrier and made sure that she became the first key crane operator in the Chennai container terminal. So, thank you. So that was an amazing experience, which also told us that this business of finding careers for women and of making sure that the organization actually traveled hand in hand with us for this vision was one that was here to stay. We realized very soon that data is oil or data is gold, whichever commodity you prefer to call it. We realized that very early on. And with that, we began to take measures to start collecting data, which will be useful for organizations so that they will then be able to present a very convincing picture to their leadership, a very convincing picture to everyone who needed to be convinced. So the first such report was in 2005, the Viewport, which actually showed that 18% of women's attrition was due to people who actually just, women who left the workplace permanently. And that really shook a lot of organizations, which helped us to further the cause of making sure we were creating a very sustainable career space for women. Then we started the Avatar Human Capital Trust, our not-for-profit initiative, which today is doing such brilliant work and is making sure that young girls between the ages of 13 and 18 are actually trained on career intentionality, so that whatever skills, domain skills, whatever education that they garner subsequently will be used for them to create a career which they do not off-ramp from. So that was the idea, and I think at last count we have trained about close to about 20,000 young girls in career intentionality. And very recently, I think just last week, we had a male allyship synergy summit in Chennai, and we had a huge hall full of young boys who came and took a gender champions pledge, saying that they will support women in their careers, in public spaces, but also at home. So this is going great. Of course, by 2010, we had our first big breakthrough of having reached 500 employers who started working with Avatar in making sure that they were hiring from us, we were training them, we were conducting audits, we were conducting assessments. So that process kind of began. Then 2011, we actually started a second company. So by now, we were Avatar Career Creators, and then we had Avatar Human Capital Trust. We started Flexi Careers India, a third company, which is a private limited company, which is the one that most of you engage with today, which is primarily into inclusion, diversity, belongingness, acceptance, and everything relating to culture. Basically, workplace culture consulting. The Segway sessions that you're part of now is the 17th edition. And the very first edition took place in 2011 in December. And that was a moment which we absolutely cannot forget, because it meant great validation for us that we had something that corporate India was really ready to take great serious note of. And just watching that huge hall, Park Sheraton in Chennai, filled with, I think, about 400 to 500 women who had come many of them taking a break and then connecting with corporates, undergoing interviews on the same day. It was a magnificent experience. That was 2011. Then in 13 was when we created this partnership that we today see with Seramount, which used to be called the Working Mother Media, to launch the best companies. And then, of course, Project Putri, which today empowers 20,000 underprivileged girl children. And, they're all wearing the graduation cap, which is a symbol of Putri. And it's one of the moments where, along with volunteering, it's not just about corporates, being donors. It's about corporates actually influencing the careers, the lives of these young girls, and it gives a certain thrill, which very little other things can equal. And then, of course, 2016 became the launch of the Best Companies for Women in India study. This year, by the way, is the 10th edition of the Best Companies, and I think by now, close to about 1,000 organizations would have shared their data, over 1 million data points that have been gathered as a result of that. So, should any of you in the audience not already be participating, not just as a single group, but in your many different entities, you will miss something. Because what participating, and by the way, participation is free, what this does is gives you a scorecard individually for every organization, and that is free of cost as well, which tells you how your company is doing vis-a-vis everybody else who participated. So if you haven't already signed up for it, time is running out, do sign up. And then, of course, this book about which Kushi spoke so sweetly, thank you, that got launched in 2018. And then we started the Most Inclusive Companies Index. That was 2019, when organizations came to us and said, we'd want to fill one form. We just want to fill one questionnaire by y'all. You give us whatever data you want us to share in it, please do that, and give us cuts, give us data cuts. So that's why the Most Inclusive Companies Index, which looks at a multitude of factors with regard to the identity of employees in your workplace. It's not just about, sexual orientation or ability. It's also about language, culture, generation, gender, all of those things, and that's the kind of data that you get from Mickey. And this is a matter of immense pride to all of us. What started off as a discussion with the HR team at Google, saying what can we do beyond what we do within the workplace, within Google's premises, within Google's organization, to actually influence talent that can not just be employed by Google, but by Google's entire ecosystem, by vendors, partners, by competitors, by everyone in the digital marketing industry. Can we actually create talent which then goes out and, like seeds, which take root everywhere? Can we do that, was the question Google asked us. And the result is DigiPivot. And we have had 5 immensely successful editions. I mean, it has an energy of its own. People just log in. The success rate of getting into the DigiPivot program challenges even the Ivy Leagues, because that's how small number of seats we have in this program. And the immense number of people who apply for it is simply mind-boggling. And then, of course, 2020 was another big milestone despite COVID. And this is the point that I'd really like to make here. I know that with the global political situation, the whole business of diversity, equity, and inclusion is under somewhat of a cloud, with American multinationals in India still wondering, how they are going to go about it. We know that Avatar's clients are absolutely convinced and completely committed to that journey. And I know many of you are here. Big round of applause to all of you who are here, because we know that it's not easy. But now is when it makes all the more reason for every organization, whichever has a business presence in India, to make sure that your commitment towards inclusion, your commitment towards culture building, your commitment towards the Indian woman professional is really understated and underscored more powerfully than ever before. And the reason for that has nothing to do with geopolitical issues. It has everything to do with what stage of development. Remember what I spoke in the beginning about the stages of development of a country? Now, India is so wonderfully poised to be truly a global leader. And if at this point of time, the talent strategy of any organization did not include women, did not include gender inclusion, then we have a lot to lose. So I would say, we are here. Avatar is here for you. Please let us know how we can help you reframe the words, reframe the titles, but still deliver the same impact, the same work as ever before. And this was a knowledge, or this was a awakening that we had during COVID, because everybody thought that, with COVID, the whole aspect of workplace culture is going to kind of, take a back seat, and people are not going to be able to really leverage, the way it would happen when you are seated over there and, in an organization. But all corporates decided that this was the moment when they had to actually go all out in making sure that their culture was literally worn on their sleeve. And that's how Avatar managed to reach this number of 1,250 employers that we started working with post-COVID. Of course, we won a couple of awards, and we have to do a bit of trumpet, blowing over here. We won the Steward Leadership 25, very, very prestigious award given by INSEAD and by the Steward Times of Singapore, which actually selects 25 organizations globally that do amazing work in the space of inclusion, and your favorite organization, Avatar, was part of that. We also completed the Stanford University Seed Program for small enterprises. And being a social enterprise, we actually challenged Stanford to make sure how they would be able to give us the kind of learning that we required to not lose our inherent soul of being a social enterprise that looks at work that creates an impact and yet be profitable, yet be self-sufficient. So that's testimony for this. And then, of course, we launched the top cities, which you had Kushi and Aniket speak about just now. And we launched the ESG services of Avatar because we realized many organizations, small, medium, and large, were finding it a little confusing as to how to deal with the S part in ESG. So we ended up, by default, helping them with the social part. And then we sort of decided to do a sideways integration into both environment and governance. And then, we did the My Avatar Career Conference, and I would like to give a big shout out to the Aditya Birla Group, who were the sponsors for the My Avatar Career Conference too, which was a magnificent experience in Bangalore. And this year again, we'll be back. And of course, this is the book that you see outside. I mean, how can I not promote my own book? Otherwise, Penguin will be angry. So here it is, the Conversations with a Career Doctor. And we became South India's first DI. In fact, that should be India's. Let's correct it. They came back later on and they said, no, it's not South India, it's actually India. So it's India's first DI solutions firm to get the 2700 certification. This is a very special ISO certification for consulting organizations. So everything that you see will have a stamp of quality, which is the ISO stamp. And we then moved into the Gulf, and it was not just the UAE. We are now present in Saudi, Oman, in Bahrain, and in the UAE, and we are offering the same best companies for women in the Gulf region as well. And we have some amazing clients of ours, including Diversey, who are participating in all of these regions because it makes sense to benchmark yourselves. And we received quite a few awards for the great work that Avatar has done and AHCT, the Avatar Human Capital Trust, has done. We launched Nipuni Career Pathing, in the presence of the Minister for Education in Tamil Nadu. And we launched the best companies for ESG, and I think that brings us to 2025. Yes, so that is the QR code for registration. So if any of your organizations is interested in this, all you have to do is just click the QR code to get the application form for the best companies for women in India, the most inclusive companies index, and the best companies for ESG. My dear friends, it's now time for us to release the DEI Victory Book. Now, what's this book? So for the 25 years, Avatar has worked with some incredible organizations, so passionate. And when you say organizations, it's not just some nameless, faceless entity we are talking about. It's about all of you, leaders, who have vouched for us, who have sold us internally to your leaders, who have said that, this group of maverick people from Chennai, this Avatar, they are doing a lot of very, very good work in this space. So let's partner with them. And the result that you will now see, which is the Victory Book, is a set of 25 case studies, one for every year of Avatar's existence, which talks about some very simple, deep, and meaningful ways in which your culture can be absolutely made very, very creative, innovative, filled with a sense of, a right attitude towards problem solving, and be a talent magnet, not just for women, but for everyone. So with that, let me first of all say what an absolute pleasure it is once again to see this full hall of all of you who have taken time out to come on a busy working day, to be with us here for the whole day of great moments. And here's to a company which becomes Viksit on the force of women's workforce participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Soundarya, for setting the right tune. May I request you to kindly remain on stage.
The inclusion. Now, we'll go forward with the Inclusion Victory Book, that is to commemorate our 25th anniversary. And we have our valued partners in the book. I invite Mr. Ashok Ramachandran, Director, Human Resources, Aditya Birla Group. Can we have a huge round of applause going for all our panelists? Ms. Amrita Ganguly, Chief Diversity Officer, Tata Motors. Mr. Captain Dilip Narayan, Director, HR, EPAM Systems. Jyotsna Malhotra, General Manager, HR, TVS Motor Company. Mr. Tarun of Tata Consumer. Ms. Preeti Singh, Chief People Officer, Universal Sompo General Insurance. Ms. Zoha Kazi, Lead Talent Attraction, Persistent Software. Shiba Kurup, Senior HR Business Partner, GOBP. Mr. Uma Shankar Kandaswamy, Co-founder and Chief of Staff at Avatar Group. Mr. Karthik Ekambaram, Co-founder and Head of Solutions at Avatar Group, to join the stage to unveil our Inclusion Victory Book. May we have our Victory Books on stage, please? The Inclusion Victory Book launch is a testament to groundbreaking strategies that drive workplace culture in organizations. Can we have a photograph with all of them, please? Yeah, Saundra ma'am, please. Can we have a huge round of applause going for all of them, please? Thank you so much, delegates. That was a great photograph. May I now request the dignitaries to say a few words on their DEI journey with Avtar. Can you please stay back?
Yes, good afternoon all and good morning. Thank you for the invitation, Team Avatar. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here, especially amongst the vibrant women's tribe. Looking forward to a lot of insightful sessions today. So I represent GOBP. My name is Sheba Kurup. GOBP, for people who are not aware, is a JV between British Petroleum and Reliance Industries. And our journey with DNI has been special. So, as Dr. Soundarya mentioned, we at GOBP strongly believe in being inclusive and in having the right kind of workplace culture, DNI equation, and creating a very positive work environment to have that kind of impact. And while we had our DNI practices in place, we collaborated with Avatar, and we kind of had our, culture assessment study done by them, our policies and procedures, and a lot of DNI benchmark practices we did with the best of the industry. And I should say that the experience was very professional. They gave a lot of insights to us, basis which in the past 1 year, we have engaged in a lot of practices of diverse hiring, having the mentorship programs for our female employees, having a very creative employee resource group for our female employees, where I think we have rolled off 2 flagship leadership programs. We have also done a very in-depth attrition study to ensure that we are not having the leaky bucket kind of issue. So we actually go in to study attrition across gender, age, experience. And also we have created a lot of impactful internal and external collaboration flyers. For example, Her Story, the future leader. And all these have actually paved way for us of having an increase in the women employees' presence. So we actually went multifold from, say, 70 employee strength to 200 pan-India, and the numbers are just growing. And it's just not the numbers, it's also the presence that, these employees, the female employees have made their presence felt in the leadership role. So we have got a lot of female leaders getting hired, and also the internal talent pipeline getting built up in that way. So the journey has not stopped, but I would definitely like to thank Avatar for their collaboration. And going forward, we are planning to see a lot of talent hiring, female talent hiring in our technical roles. So one good news which I would like to share with you all is, recently we've had a batch of 5 aviation field executives. So these are females who are actually fueling the aircrafts. So we are into the sustainable energy solution business, basically transforming the energy and the mobility space in India. So these were the female executives who for the first time, I think, in the industry got hired. And also we have our field sales officers who are actually climbing on top of the tank trucks, the retail outlets that you see, they're manning those 15 retail outlets on an average strength, and each retail outlet, I think the costing goes to about 3 to 5 CR. So you can actually imagine the kind of weightage they carry in their young shoulders. So definitely, to be empaneled in the book that ma'am just launched is actually a great honor. And I definitely see that we all would be creating a lot of social impact, and also to be there with a lot of DNI leaders, be featured in this book is a privilege to us. Looking forward for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those wonderful words. Now I would like to invite Mr. Umashankar Kandaswamy, co-founder, chief of staff, Avatar Group, to take the stage.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Mumbai. Good morning. It can be better. Thank you so much. Thanks for the response. What an inspiring day today in the lovely Mumbai, and an inspiring address by Dr. Soundarya. She has once again challenged us to think deeper and act bold and commit to creating workplaces where inclusion is not an initiative, but the way of life. Her vision for future for India, where leadership is built on talent, not biases, and where workplaces truly enable growth for all of us, is one that should resonate with each of us today. Dr. Soundarya rightly pointed out, today marks the launch of Victory Book, the Inclusion Victory Book, a powerful guide that captures the essence of resilience, leadership, and the future of workplaces, also the culture. The book is a testament to the power of action, a roadmap for individuals and organizations looking to break barriers, drive workplace inclusion, and foster leadership. It brings together insights, experiences, and research to help create thriving and high-performing workplaces. At Avatar, we have seen firsthand how companies that genuinely initiate workplace inclusion into their culture outperform those that they treat it as a policy requirement. The Victory Book is a must-read for leaders, organizations, and professionals ready to take on meaningful action towards creating inclusive and future-ready workplaces. And speaking of leaders who have championed workplace transformation, it is now my privilege and honor to introduce a leader who has been in the forefront in reshaping workplace culture, Mr. Ashok Ramchandran. Ashok is the Director, Human Resources at Aditya Birla Group, and serves as in the lot of boards. One among them is Aditya Birla Management Private Limited, and also at India Siemens, with over 35 years of HR leadership experience. He has led HR transformations across multiple industries, including Asian Paints, GE Capital, Tata AIG Insurance, and Vodafone India, before joining Aditya Birla about 9 years back. But beyond titles and roles, what sets Ashok apart is his belief, a deep belief in unlocking human potential. He has been instrumental in building inclusive cultures, nurturing talent, and driving organizational excellence across industries, as we saw just now. His passion for enabling people to make an impact and thrive in leadership roles is truly inspiring. His contributions have been recognized through several prestigious awards. Some of them are listed now. Seasoned HR Professional Award by NHRD in 2015, CHRO of the Award by Business World Excellence in 2017, Outstanding Leader Award, Aditya Birla Group in 2022. But for me, Ashok is a dear friend, more than just a leader on the paper. He's someone that I have had a privilege of knowing for him over more than 15 years, since the days that we worked at Voda. Back then, women's representation at the top management was almost zero. It's non-existence, right? Instead of simply acknowledging the gap, Ashok took the initiative and action. He worked closely with Avtar to bring in the first ever leader into the Vodafone's leadership management. It was not just a policy change, it was a cultural transformation that laid the foundation for a great inclusivity. Now, let me tell you about what truly defines Ashok as a leader. Recently, I hesitated before calling him because he's always busy for this particular Segway sessions. Knowing about a packed schedule, at about 6:30, I just called him and then I just switched off. But then I got a call at 9:30 in the evening. Hey, Uma, how are you? I know he has a very packed schedule. At the tail end of the day, the enthusiasm, the warmth, the eagerness to discuss, that's Ashok for you. A leader who never slows down, a visionary who always shows up, and an ally with truly, cares. So today, it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to have Ashok with us. Ashok, we love to hear your thoughts. Please take the stage. And thank you for the leader that you are. Thank you so very much.
Morning, folks. All keynote speakers are received with a lot of worry. And Uma Shankar's introduction sounds like a statutory warning. Saying this is one more guy who's going to speak. I think following Saundarya and Uma Shankar is going to be a tough act. I think indeed if people have to be celebrated today, it's them. And I really mean it. Well done. So I've had the privilege of knowing Avtar for a while and through my formative times. And indeed, I've seen them grow. I've seen them light many candles. You've inspired. And I think conferences like this, I really hope, while we all take out time to be here, and I thank you really for taking out time, are moments to be inspired by. So thank you for your seminal work. Thank you for the Josh. Thank you for staying the course. 25 years is a long time to stay on a journey of belief. It's easy to get off the train. And I think you all have stayed the train, you put us on the train, and we sound like we have achieved a lot, but that's a little bit of BS. I think you have guided us. So thank you for staying the course with us. Thank you. Give them a big round, folks. So keynote speakers and introductions can be very painful, sometimes very long, so I don't propose to speak a lot. I think many of you in the audience could well be doing this conversation. So I really hope to leave you with a few thoughts, which I thought I'll share as friends and colleagues in the ecosystem. So I don't want to make it a massive Gyan session on what life's all about and what you should do, but I thought I'll share a few moments of what I believe have worked, what I see the world moving to, what I see, not really as a group alone, but as friends and colleagues, to see what are some of the things that I'm inspired by. And irrespective of gender, what do I go back thoughtful about? And I really hope some of this triggers some thought for you. And as all conferences go, if you put your phone away and focus on many of the fantastic sessions that are lined up today, many of the panel discussions are coming up which are going to be quite possibly provocative, possibly thought-provoking. I tend to use these conferences as audiences in a moment of reflection. All of us are busy. I'm sure as we speak, as I'm speaking, there's something buzzing in your mind about what you need to do at the tea break. You need to call somebody. Maybe your boss is calling. Maybe somebody is paining you. Maybe you have things of unfinished agendas. So as they say, mindfulness and being present is a very core part of learning journeys. And I hope today you have a learning day. I hope you have a day of reflection. You go back stronger. And thank you for hosting us today, Avtar. So Saundarya, Uma Shankar and team, thank you. And we hope this continues to build, and I'm sure we have journeys to build. I was telling some of my colleagues in the room today that I'm a deep believer of a 2.0 journey. Quite often, life is a continuum, but sometimes you got to stop and pause where you are. Stop celebrating the past and say, can I do a 2.0 on myself? And across my group, I'm doing a very active 2.0 campaign. 2.0 to a business, 2.0 to a function, 2.0 to HR, to D&I journey, 2.0 to self. So what's your 2.0 is a point that I've been very actively campaigning. And I think this needs definition. if I don't define it consciously, it becomes serendipity of habit. It just becomes one more day. Day floats into a week, into a month, into a year. I can't imagine January 1st was just a short while back. We're already 3 months into the year. And I sometimes look back and say, what have I really achieved? Apart from looking busy, being busy. So being busy and looking busy is no more an act of heroism in itself. So when I look back and say, what have I achieved through the muck of busyness? Answer sometimes worries me. So hence a 2.0 campaign is a point for us to reflect on who we are, what can we be, what should we be, and where do I start with a 2.0 campaign for myself. There's no point me giving a massive gyan to anybody, including my group, if I don't do it myself. So like in most cases, be it values, be it beliefs, be it foundational things that we are all made of, or be it our own journey, life is a smell test. You got to smell it yourself to know, are you moving in a certain direction? It's like reputation. What's your reputation for results for yourself? And therefore, I hope today lights many a candle for us. And as I was hearing Soundarya go through a fantastic 25 years, I was left reflective about few things I think I'm happy for ourselves, for myself. Few things I was saying, oh my God, have I missed a few boats here? And I go back thoughtful as well about what we could have done more in time. And that's the second point I want to talk about before I come to something which I have actually written down and I want to share, which is the factor of time. It's a bit of an existential point when you sit back on a conference quiet day like this and reflect. Time is precious, and therefore whatever we want to do, it is divided by time. And I hope the day is productive to you, because you're going to measure what I say. Has it been worth listening to this guy drone on for 10, 15 minutes? And you're going to assess me for that. You're going to assess the day and the panelists for that. Life is a pedestal. It's a pedestal divided by time. Impact by time. What you do by time. What I could have done, I didn't do, divided by time. So time is precious. What I need to do today, if I do tomorrow, I've lost a day. And I wonder whether we should hold ourselves accountable, sharper, for value by time, impact by time. Therefore, progress by time becomes super critical on any journey that we might be on. It's true for our careers, isn't it? Yes or no? If I tell you life is fine, before you retire you'll do something, that's not aspiration. Most people want to get ahead, they want to do more. So everything seems to have a time value. So I wonder why some of our journeys just wax and wane into serendipity of time. I'll do it later. I'll do it next week, next month. Let April come. It's like dieting, huh? It's like exercising. It's always a tomorrow. I do many such promises. Weekend I'll start. Weekend comes, I'm busy, I'll start on Monday, which seems to be a better day. Monday comes, I'm busy and stuff happens. I'll start by weekend. And life just happens around us. So I wonder whether journeys need investment of that sharpness. And I think DEI journey needs divided by time. Therefore, in our times together, I talk about it in my company as well. Nobody's permanent, neither am I, neither is anybody. In our times together, in our times in a role, in a given moment, in a day, in a time, in a relationship, in a friendship, in a moment, if I don't add value, if I don't make a difference by time, I think the moment is lost. And I think it's a smell test I hold myself up to. I do fail the test at times, but I'd like to say I'm honest enough to say I failed the test so that I can next time not fail the test again. And I'd like to hold all our colleagues a little accountable for have we made a difference in time. So I want to leave you with that thought. And this thought comes across in every way. And before we come to women and diversity as a singular subject, I think it's a broader spectrum we are talking about. It talks about culture, it talks about inclusivity, it talks about wellness. I've seen organizations can't be excellent in isolation. Cannot be excellent in one pocket while I smell nasty in another 5 pockets. Is that right? Either I'm good or bad. 0 or 1. Life is a smell test. Either I smell or stink. One of it has to happen. I can't be a bit on this side and a bit on that side. So what else is me then? How else do I shape that? Employee experience is becoming core. We may speak in conferences, HR people, the senior they get, sometimes the uglier they get on the comments. How deep is our practice of whatever we do is a question I go back thoughtful to. Are the far corners of companies, whether isolated men or women, doesn't matter, early career people who go through far more complexity than possibly you and I do today, are we addressing them at a unitary level? Hyper-personalization is a buzzword HR has created for itself. But are we really reaching out to the people who matter? Therefore, the journey of diversity, inclusion, journey of wellness, well-being, mental health, journey of success is all reaching out to the last mile employee. And we've launched a massive campaign on Frontline Connect. And I talk about connected HR, connected DI. So it's no more a broad practice. It is actually in the depth, in experience. And I urge all of us, irrespective of where we are, whether we are line managers, DI professionals, HR folks, whatever we may be called, if you are champions of the network, we must be actually very hands-on. And in that hands-onness lies employee experience. And I share this with passion because, to me, otherwise it just becomes a broad title. And while surveys are good, surveys are only indicative of something. The truth is of deep connect. And I really believe each of us in our organizations must drive that. So I just wanted to share that morning's reflection / ranting a little bit on my thoughts before I say a few other things, which might be a little more obvious, but I just wanted to share this journey and passion that we must stay focused. And it's a very personal journey, folks. It's not my title. It is not your title. It is not what the company affords us. And the last learning I've had on this journey is, one of my bosses in AIG, Tata AIG earlier told me, he said, Ashok, all of us, the moment you say, hi, I'm Ashok, you say, where do you work? So you are very proud to give your card and say, okay, I'm so-and-so. So it's, oh, okay, very good, I'm so-and-so. So the company and the title seems to be preceding our very background. And that's a struggle in my mind. Quite often who we are is on the other side of the card. And people who know you for the person you are, rather than the card you are. You're judged for the person you are and not the title you are. The title gets you the official salute, but who cares? What matters is the person you are. So can we create leaders who are deep believers of a subject like this, that we go back with nuggets of inspiration? This topic is all about inspiration. Can we go back with nuggets of inspiration? Not formulaic 5-point approach to sort out my DI agenda. Agenda will follow. But if you have the kernel of inspiration, we will land the deck. We will land everything else. And that inspiration starts from me. If I don't role model it, my team will know me for it. If I'm disrespectful, but I say the right things in a public forum, they will know me for it. If I'm not a champion of a cause, if I don't stick up to moments when I have to, people will know me for it. So apparently, this journey starts with each of us at a smell test level. And I want us to do a self-evaluation of, are we doing enough on that basis? And I'm sure there's a story around each of us of what we do well on the days when we are rolling, on the days and periods when we are kind of not so. And the last personal journey I've had is, this journey can't be done, organizations can't change without another word called courage. You've got to put your foot through the door to get this done. I can't sway to the organization's beliefs if the belief is still building. I must build that belief. I must hold my ground when the storm blows. When the occasional line manager, senior leader, whoever he or she may be, doesn't believe in it. And I say he or she because there are men and women who have colors of, shades of belief in a journey like this. So building belief comes at a very personal level. And that's been a huge journey for myself. What's our belief? What's your 2.0 belief level for yourself? Who are you? Who am I? The who am I was a story I started when I went for my graduation. And that's the first book I read, actually, in a very serious sense. It's a fantastic book. It defines who you are. It questions the very foundation of who am I. The book is called Who Am I? And I thought that was very seminal work. My God, I went shaken. I went back to my professor and said, I feel very insignificant in my life. So what's the cause which motivates you? There has to be a cause which inspires. I can't get up this morning and say, okay, I heard now Saundarya, Uma, Shankar and Ashok, so I stand inspired. Hey, it doesn't work like that. Huh? As I speak, you'll also be taking up some points, you'll also be discounting what I say. So what then is your inspiration is a question I normally go back thoughtful about. Why am I inspired about somebody? And I have a personal belief that it's not about role model that I believe in. It's a role model quality that I pick up. It could be very small, somebody in my office whom I'm very inspired by. It could be the guy who serves tea for me, who I'm extremely inspired by what he does, how committed he is. And for me, that inspiration drives my next phase of the day. So think about it. What's your inspiration? So a few points, I just want to set the context of where I believe the world is heading in this context, where I believe organizations could do more or shape the agenda, and possibly a few points for ourselves as practitioners and friends and colleagues. Obviously, the world is changing. You can see that happening, geopolitical. Saundarya spoke about it. Irrespective of who believes what, I think this journey is real. And as that changes, organizations are battling market forces. The pressure on cost, pressure on talent, pressure on getting the right people, merit at the core of any journey on DEI will always be very insistent. And as we shape our thinking, as we shape practices, policies, as we shape market forces, as we make sure enterprises continue in a world which is super competitive, I think we have a role to play to shape the workforce in some form. So to me, DEI is not about just having more women in the workforce. Neither is it LGBTQ or PWD or whatever is the choice you make on what your journey priorities are. It is about having a future-fit workforce. And I think every member of a workforce, irrespective of the classification you may put somebody under, feels proud of being in the workforce because of who they are. Is that right? If I tell you you're there for a particular classification, you'll hate me for it. Nobody likes that. And therefore, you are here for a purpose. And therefore, I go back to topics like strategic workforce planning and so on. It has to be a core part of how you design workforce for effectiveness. And so when I visit some of our new factories, highly digitalized, and I see 0 to 2 year experience, diploma holders, ITI trainees, 45% women, there's no men or women in that moment. It is just fantastic talent. 0 to 2 years experience running a whole floor, running an entire shift. They don't want a quarter to be given because they're young, because they're women, because they are men. Who cares? Beyond a point. You're fantastic. That's why you're there. So celebrating this journey of workforce building and putting pillars on the ground towards workforce design is possibly a good way to start a larger journey of a diverse workforce design. And if we have a strategic view like that, diversity then becomes a follow-through effort, rather than an isolated, I need to do diversity because I need to put it on my tag. You need it because it's a core priority for workforce, because diversity has a value to build for the workforce. A diverse workforce has historically been proven to be a more productive workforce. Hence, the belief starts at a design level from this exercise called strategic workforce planning. And we should use possibly that exercise to also shape thinking of line managers. You do need allies in line managers, senior business leaders. They need to believe in the journey. Many of our group companies where we have done well on D&I is because the business leader took it upon himself or herself to take it seriously, to drive HR. And where we have failed is when a business leader says, okay, I'll come on Women's Day and inaugurate, but then you know what? For everything else, Ashok, do what you have to do. It's an HR thing to do. That's crap. Simply put, call it out. So you got to get such people who are believers in it, or you steamroll them into believing it. There's no choice but to get this done. And I think that's a belief I carry in the group. I'm not giving you a choice on some things, because I can't have 14 beliefs in a room where the singularity of the North Point is clear. And I'll fail if I don't have belief. If I simply lip sync it and go away, people will know me for it. So what's a stake on the ground when you do a 2.0? Who are you? Who am I? Is a question I come back to. Where do you crack? Where do you fail? Where do you succeed? Am I resilient about the journey? Or am I a happy weather guy who comes in on the right moments to say the right things? On the day when I have to put my foot down, I duck it. Who am I on a journey like this? And I really believe this. We must go back thoughtful about changing parts of our own organization, because that's changing the world divided by time. The other journey I see is next gen is moving fast. The next gen wants our roles faster. They're saying, Ashok, when are you going to retire? When can I take on your role? Under pressure now, huh? So the next gen is moving fast. So how do I prepare the next gen for their work, their attitude? Can I shape their thinking at this stage when they are sapling, before they become big ugly trees? And can I shape their values and thinking is a big journey. So it's not about having more women in the workforce. It's about creating future leaders who have the right values so that they then take the journey ahead, because the future belongs to them. Therefore, the next gen talent is a big priority for us. I don't want to call it young, because ageism is a priority many companies struggle to talk about. We don't want to talk about age. If I talk to my US operations, they say I'm young at 68, 75. I have people working at 82 in the US, and they're pumping good blood, they're doing stuff. Whereas in India, you have a retirement age and so on, and by the time you hit 40s and 50s, you're old. So there's a priority worry about ageism. Huh? So you need a good mix of young, youth, etc., and maturity. You need the energy of the next gen, and you need the maturity and the balance of what experienced people like many of us in the room carry. And you need a mix of both. And how do you build the belief in DEI at that level? Possibly their belief building is far more important to me than some of my very senior leaders who will pass through the portal sooner than later. And if I don't do that today at the next gen level, I'll fail in my times in this company divided by time, my tenure divided by impact. I will not get it done. So I hold myself accountable to get this done for the next gen. And if they don't see me role modeling, they're not going to believe in this. And they'll become leaders who are successful business-wise, I suspect, but who may not hold this torch tight. So watch out for the next gen is my belief, and I think into this world that we are entering today. As organizations, I believe the talent journey, and I'd like to bake in the DI journey as part of a larger talent journey. That's when it thrives. At ABG, I don't think we do that fully well yet. We're getting there. We'll get there. We're very clear that we must get there on this journey. I think organizations are typically looking for 4 things, and I want to talk about those. People are looking at the core level for expertise and competence. That's obvious. Huh? That's the ticket to the party. If I'm not good at my role, my delivery, what can I be basis for? So what am I looking for? Expertise and competence. That's the base ticket to the party. Second, people are looking for perspective. What's the bigger perspective you carry about wider things in life? About topics which are bigger than just our own topics. My own job, what is the bigger perspective I carry? And am I investing in myself enough? Called perspective building. And as I say this to all my colleagues, men, women, particularly some of our women forums, I say, please prepare yourself. And I'll come to that in a minute. Third, understanding the context of the industry we are in. We must know the context. Quite often I meet people across the system and they say, I know my job. I don't know what's happening in the wider spectrum. So the context becomes super critical. Leaders of the future will come from knowing the context, from having a perspective and being good at their respective jobs. So how do I test for those? How do I prepare people for that? And the last point is personal qualities. You want people of a certain genre of personal qualities, values, culture, ability to come across in a certain manner. And it's not just articulation. It's not about extrovert, introvert, and something like that. It's about who you are as a personal quality. It's about how you come across. It's how you think through your thinking to articulation patterns. And if these 4 are coming through, I see organizations talking about, we practice what is called a 3A point. A 3A process identifies what we call as potential, which is ability, agility, and attitude. gives me a mix called potential. And I share this because at the end of every journey, we must build future leaders. The DI journey is also for building future leaders, whether I'm in a not-for-profit organization or for-profit organization. Irrespective of which company you are in, you are building for success. All of us want to succeed. Yes or no? In whatever is our output, we want to succeed. And therefore, the kernel of success comes from tapping that word called potential. And that comes for me from 3 A's: ability, agility, and attitude. So if you do a 2.0 on that and define it sharper, and there's enough definitions available to you easily, you can source those, you'll find that each of this needs deep investment. And I keep talking to my colleagues across the spectrum on this, saying you need to be prepared for that knock called opportunity when the knock happens. If you're not ready for that knock, the knock goes to the next door. And I quite often, from an HR point of view, like to hold ourselves accountable for the fact that, yes, you should have opened the door when the opportunity knocked on your door. If you weren't prepared, of course you are accountable for it, but can HR and leadership also be accountable for it? I've had colleagues come and say, Ashok, if only I knew this was my development journey, I would have prepared for it had you told me 1 year back. Nobody told me this. So again, regret by time. I can't give you 1 year back to prepare. So are we preparing people adequately for success? If you need more women leaders at the top, which all of us do, so the joy and the sense of pride and the bravery award doesn't go to hiring 40%, 50% women from campus. That's the first thing you hear from everybody. We say that too. The moment you go to saying how many senior leaders do you have at the top deck level, how many CEOs of yours are women leaders, we start hemming and hawing and say future is bright. Ask me 15 years from now, I'll be ruled by women. Right now I'm at the trainee level, which is all good. I'm not ridiculing anybody. But I think if you're going to prepare women for the future, you need to prepare well in time. They need to prepare in time. You need to prepare in time. Organization and HR needs to prepare in time. Therefore, if I can predict opportunities and prepare people for that predicted opportunities, I think we have a better chance of success. Rather than simply aggregate why I didn't do something because I have to say something. Therefore, the last bucket I want to quickly cover before I climb up. For me, I call it, all of us want to succeed. I said it's a truism. I find it personally a useful formula to have just these 4 points that I'm going to talk about. 2 P's and 2 C's, for want of any other. It's a nicer way to remember, to land it. Otherwise, I'll become one massive speech. I don't know what he said. First is the preparation. You need to be prepared to succeed. Are you spending time preparing for success? What's your agenda? What's your aspiration to start with? Do we have an aspiration? Do my colleagues, men and women, have an aspiration or an ambition? If I don't have an aspiration and my only aspiration is to come to job and hopefully something will happen to me, or my annual increment process, I've lost the battle of life. I must have a striking aspiration. I must have something stellar for myself. Because I am 100% to myself. I am 100% to somebody who cares for me, possibly the family. Why then do I not have a stellar aspiration? And that is something very personal. You don't have to declare it. It has to be something which burns the midnight oil for you. Through all the muck, through all the goodness and badness of bosses and companies and policies, this is your shining North Star. What's your ambition? First point is prepare for success. Are we prepared? Do you have a charter? And I keep telling my colleagues, companies have annual plan, weekly plan, monthly plan, daily plan, whatever plan, run rate plans. Ask the sales guys. We don't have a plan for ourselves. Famous question, do you read books? Do we read books? Most of us? Okay, some of us may have opened a book, maybe the career doctor. It's a small example of how intent to action is a gap. The moment I give my colleague a book, they say, oh, boss, 300 pages, I'm very busy. But 300 pages in a month is about 10 pages a day. Can't you take out 20 minutes a day? Really? 20 minutes, you're too tied up? Really? Check your Facebook time, check your social media time, check the muck time, check the travel time. 20 minutes to mil jayega. If I can't read a book a month, what am I worth? So what's your agenda is something I go back thoughtful about. And I'm saying, just as I think, oh, I'm very busy, I'm doing a lot of stuff. World is moving because of me kind of stuff happens to me on many of these evenings, which is all bullshit. It is a very quiet moment when you say some of my young colleagues are reading more, building better perspective than way beyond what I'm currently doing. And I go back humbled about what more I should do. So preparation is a core. What's your preparation? Buy time. Practice includes resilience. The second P for me is practice. What I don't practice, I won't get there. I can't diet my way in one day to success or death. I must do something about it daily. So practice and resilience, whether my boss likes it, whether I have time, whether I'm busy, whether I'm traveling, whether I have family to attend to, whether I'm having a child at home, whether I'm doing whatever, whether I'm caregiving, and I guess all of us are a mix of this. And a working woman's life is far more complex than a man's life. I really believe that. How else then do you find time to practice and be resilient about it? I'm very deeply passionate about it. But you must have a pattern of practice. The last two C's, which I find very valuable, is, and one session is coming up today, I know on that, which is confidence, which is a very ambiguous commodity. You might think I'm speaking confidently to you, and this guy is like old enough, ugly enough to speak confidently, and I don't know if I'm like that. I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. I have the same butterflies as you would have if you're called on stage. Okay? But then one builds confidence over time. Practice, preparation gives you confidence. So I think we need to do possibly more on our own confidence, particularly instilling confidence of our youngsters. I find some fantastic youngsters who are quietly doing terrific job. When I go to him or her and say, how things happening? Just that one question of connect opens up a world of fantastic insights. And I'm wondering, what is that confidence in people? So I go back quite often, reflect about, am I tapping into this huge well of merit called confidence of people? What makes me confident? What makes me underconfident? Why is my fantastic merit not shining through? How do I touch that word called confidence for my youngsters who are coming through the system, questioning the change that we should become? And therefore, what is confidence? How do I give confidence to more people? How are my two compares confidently comparing when I never had such confidence at your time, folks? Okay, so it all looks very nice and ugly now, but you guys are fantastic, okay? So what is confidence in the way we are as men, women? Why is a woman sometimes, in a stated manner, underconfident in a moment, compared to a man who possibly knows lesser but sounds more confident? So what is confidence? What makes you more confident? What gives you the confidence to make a difference? I think confidence is the core of impact. If I don't have confidence, my leadership won't smell me out. They know I'm a stickler because I'm confident about what I say. They test me for it, I'm prepared. I practice it, they know I'm like this. So confidence is a first C, and the last C I want to talk about is communication. Communication is the oil. You've got to be able to be convinced and communicative about whoever you are, whatever your journey is. I can't be quiet and silent type. Communication doesn't mean empty vessels speak a lot. You've got to have substance at the core, but you've got to also communicate. In your own way. You don't have to be a loud communicator or speaker and that kind of stuff. You've got to be able to communicate your intent. So the confidence, therefore, communicate, gives you that veneer of impact. So those two P's and two C's is what I want to talk about. Pick up role model qualities is a belief I wanted to share with you that I carry. And that's the last point I really wanted to share. I just want to wish each of you a fantastic day and fantastic year ahead. Keep the light burning. Don't lose the belief in the subject that we came here for the day. And I hope many of the conversations that you're going to have today adds value to you. And I hope you go back thoughtful, as I do as well, about the topic and the day. Have a fantastic day and year ahead. Thank you.